At the start of this year, I created 4 fruit tree guild raised beds here in my vegetable garden. So as we get to the end of the year, here's what worked and what didn't, what I loved and what I didn't love so much. And most importantly, whether I think you should add fruit tree guilds into your own veg garden and why. Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome back. It's that time of year, late autumn going into early winter, when things are either dying back or have already died back. Some plant remains I can leave and they're going to look nice, but some things are just going to need to be cleared up and a bit of a tidy up done. So today I'm going to do that tidy up. But I've come to the end of my first year with these fruit tree guilds. If you don't know what a fruit tree guild is, or it's your first time here on my channel, make sure to check out these videos from earlier this year. But let's have a chat because I really want to review this year and let you know how I think it's gone. So I'm going to go and find my secateurs and I'm going to get working. While I get stuck in clearing away these plants, let's talk about whether overall the fruit tree guilds were a success or not. So for starters, let's talk about productivity. In their own way, they were productive in exactly the way that I wanted. I don't need huge amounts of food out of my vegetable garden. What I do want are nice little special bits of food that I can come out and almost forage for and find. I love finding you a little strawberry plant with some strawberries, or nipping out to get some herbs, maybe some onions from the Welsh onions or a Babington leek. That kind of gardening, and in particular productive gardening, really gets me going. I love that feeling of just finding something special, picking through, and it being more of a search and finding a treasure rather than having big beds of the same thing. In that sense, fruit tree guilds have just been perfect. The first group of plants were attractors, and those are plants that are going to attract in beneficial insects, pollinators, all of that kind of stuff. And this really did work. You can see even with these marigolds, they're still in flower, albeit there's only a few of them. And all the way through the summer, this whole area was just hiving with bees and flies and all kinds of butterflies and insects. And it was just super. So in that sense, did it bring in biodiversity? Yes, it did. Now, I didn't worry about the colour palette, put it that way. I went with every colour under the sun. There was Monarda with a really lovely magenta colour. You can even see the remains of the cornflowers in blue and a burgundy one that I had. There were red and yellow tagetes. So I went a bit crazy, but it looked incredible. And at its peak, when everything was in flower, it just looked stunning and it was a lovely place to be. The next group of plants to go along with attractors are repellers. I found that the repellency, I think it worked. I didn't have that much damage here, and bearing in mind some of the plants that I had that would be quite susceptible to things, the damage was less than I would have expected and certainly more than I would be used to in this garden. So I think it worked. And what's lovely about both the attractors and the repellers is that quite often one plant does the same thing. So something like the red and yellow tagetes, they work as a repeller because of the scent of their leaves, but at the same time, they're going to work as an attractor for other things, and that is just perfect. Plus, what's lovely is if you use members of the onion family, particularly things like Welsh onions, leeks, Babington leeks, edible onions, all of those things, oh, and chives as well, you can eat them, so you're adding to productivity as well. It's so easy to simply say, oh, I want to attract pollinators, and then not actually make real steps to doing it. And I thought this would be a way to do that. And it really was. Even though everything is starting to die back now, you can still see the remnants of some of the things that were just brilliant. Over here, look, it's the flower of the fennel plant, those lovely little yellow umbels. They've just been flowering for months. Again, like the Achillea. Again, you can see those yellow flowers. They've been fantastic. And in fact, now what we have are lovely seed heads of the Achillea that I can leave. Birds can pick on those, get the seed out that they want. They can remain through the winter and be a home for insects. And what I really noticed was more so than anywhere in the garden, if I came into the centre of the veg garden here, in between all 4 of these fruit tree guilds, the place was just alive with activity, insect activity, in such a good way. And what I really want to do now is roll it out and put more and more of these into the garden, because they're just brilliant. Well, the self-sown nasturtiums certainly did well this year. Time for them to go as well. And while we're talking about annuals, that is one thing that I would change next year. I wouldn't plant as many, because a bit like a lot of veg, annuals are kind of high workload. Unless they're going to be self-sown like this, you have to bring them on, pot them on, harden them off, plant them out in so many cases when it comes to annuals. And what I'm really trying to do in this veg garden is move towards something that's lower maintenance. And I thought that that would be something that fruit tree guilds promise. And they do to an extent. So next year, I'm going to shift the balance even more, so that there will still be some annuals, but there'll be less of them. And instead, there'll be more perennials that will do just as good a job without such a finicky high workload. The next group of plants are suppressors. And that would be something that covers the ground well enough with its foliage particularly, that it chokes out other plants in a good way, and it stops weeds growing and having problems. So in this very bare patch that doesn't look quite nice, this has actually been a brilliant success, because what is here is a rhubarb plant, and those big leaves all the way through the summer have given so much cover over the ground here that actually the weed growth, I would say, is really pretty low. I am delighted with it. I love gardening, I love growing, and I love productive gardening. But I also know that quite often, particularly in the growing season, I am really strapped for time when it comes to trying to get out here versus my day job. And what I was looking for would be something that would be, dare I use the phrase, low maintenance, or at least not huge maintenance. So what I needed was something that was going to help monitor and really control water levels in the soil, something that would suppress weeds as much as possible, that would kind of look after itself and look beautiful, but at the same time, when I wanted to work on it, could make a meaningful impact when I did. And it does that. Now granted, there's a couple of dandelions, but if you look at this area around me, I have honestly not weeded this since early spring. And actually the weed growth has really been pretty well suppressed. I'm so impressed with that. So it is lower maintenance, it's practical, it's beautiful. One thing, however, that it wasn't able to suppress, and one thing that hasn't worked that well, I've got a bindweed problem. And you can see that it's quite literally climbing for the skies up the arch. And I'm really disappointed with that. No matter how well a fruit tree guild works, it's not going to take on bindweed. So I've got a little bit of work to do there. You know the way I was talking there about how the suppressor leaves of the rhubarb have also become mulchers? Well, here's another brilliant mulcher. Something we all know, comfrey. This plant has just done brilliantly. This has been a great success because this plant is big. It's worked as a suppressor as well as a mulcher, and the flowers have just been spectacular. They don't look particularly special, just little bell-shaped purple flowers, but they are mega popular with bees and pollinators. And that brings me on to the next group of plants, which are fixers. And what they do is they fix nitrogen into the soil, which ends up benefiting the soil for all of the plants, and in particular, the fruit tree. Anything that's in the legume family, which includes peas and beans, sweet pea, but also lupins, they're going to fix nitrogen. And I sowed all of these from seed and brought them on, and they've been brilliant. Now, I can't really talk about the success of them yet, because all of that good nitrogen that's been fixed is under the soil, but I'm hopeful that it's good, and certainly they've been really beautiful. These lovely quite, well, pale pink and dusky pink spires of flowers that have been dotted all the way through. I've absolutely loved them. The downside is I'd wanted ones that were darker, but I've learned to love them. And finally, accumulators. And the prime example of an accumulator, or particularly a dynamic accumulator, again, is comfrey. It has such deep tap roots. They go down feet, if not meters, under the ground as they mature, and they draw up so much good nutrition, which then is stored in the leaves. And as you can see, as they die back, you can imagine, just like if you're making comfrey tea, if you add this to the soil, it's going to be such a good thing to do. Last of all, after all of that, it feels so nice being here. I think partly because it does look after itself, it doesn't feel like a chore. Instead, you can just come down and enjoy it. But it's beautiful, it's scented, it's productive, you can see wildlife, all of it just hangs together. I'm so impressed. I don't want to wax lyrical too much about it, but when I first saw the fruit tree guilds at Niall Garden, I was blown away. And it seemed too good to be true, the idea that you'd plant these 6 groups of plants around an apple tree or a fruit tree to be like a mini ecosystem. That's exactly what it is. It's a mini ecosystem. And when I look at the success that I've had in year 1, I can only imagine how great these things are going to be year on year in the future. I'm always really wary about using big, over-powerful words to describe things, particularly in the garden. But for me, these fruit tree guilds really have been transformative. They're not only beautiful, but they've been productive as well. Most of all though, they've just worked, and they have made this part of the garden something so special for me. So, teaser, expect to see more. Expect to see much more. But that's for the weeks and months ahead, so make sure to stay tuned. And until next time, see you later.